Hey, Leah, I was thinking,
What?
do you think we should learn how to meditate?
Hmm. Interesting idea.
I'm Lamont, and I am one with the universe. Do you feel the connection?
And I'm Leah. I'm trying to understand the universe.
And
And
you're
you're
tuning
tuning
into
into
the
the
Lamont
Lamont
and
and
Leah
Leah
podcast.
podcast.
Oh, Leah, so there's growing up, you and I growing up, we've heard of like meditation and how like it can technically be evil, but then like in school they always told us to like meditate, right? Like I heard like things like if you empty your mind, the devil can get in there and stuff.
Wow.
Like have you never heard that, or is that what's
Not
just me?
that one.
Oh wow, okay. Well, anyways, so like I was always scared of kind of meditating, like because I was like, I don't want the devil to get it. But so disclaimer, we are going to talk about spirituality, but not in a sense I don't think of like Jesus and salvation, but we are going to talk about spirituality and the human spirit and meditation. And we have a special guest. His name is Himanish Goel, and he's going to talk to us about this today. He's been doing it for quite a while, and I'm excited. Are you excited?
Now I am.
All right, let's go get him.
Okay.
Himanish, nice to meet you, man. We've been talking for a while, and you got to meet Leah earlier. Will you please introduce yourself to our listening audience and our viewer audience?
Yes. So my name is Himanish Goel. I'm a student graduating in 1 week from VCU
Wow.
with
Congratulations.
thank you, with a undergraduate degree in information systems from VCU. So I something on the side that I tend to like to do is spread my knowledge on like the spirituality and meditation space to kind of give people a good insight as to how can they navigate their life, because sometimes it becomes hard for them to find a career path. So this definitely gives at least like 15% clues to them that this is what you should do, like as they keep doing it with persistence and time.
Very cool. Very cool. That's what we're going to talk about today. Um, where is VCU located?
It's in the Richmond area, downtown Richmond.
Oh, Virginia, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Right, very cool.
I like that we get to talk to people from like all over the place.
Yeah.
Where are you both located right now?
Leia, you can go first.
So I'm actually in Waipahu, Hawaii, which is on the island of Oahu.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's
So we're quite far from each other.
no problem. What about you, Lamont?
I'm in California, and I am located in Colton, California, which is part of the Inland Empire in San Bernardino County.
I don't know either one of those locations, but that's interesting to know. I know I've heard of California and like Hawaii, but yeah, I don't think I've ever been to those places.
That's all right. Not many people go to Colton.
How dare you, Leia? You've been here to visit me. How dare you?
And that's it.
All right. So let's go ahead and jump into our main topic, meditation and spirituality. What is meditation, and how would you explain this to someone who's unfamiliar with the term meditation?
Yeah, so meditation's kind of the key fundamental to helping you stay in the constant space of mind if you're having a mindset that troubles you into focusing on the future or on your past. A lot of the times it's like, I try to give this reference because everyone understands it, I don't know if you've seen the new Loki show from the MCU universe, but in there, it's like the time for all, where they're controlling the present, what's going to happen in the future, and what's happened in your past. So your past are like memories that can't be fixed. They're just learning lessons. Your future is something that you don't have control of, and your present is something that you can find your steps to making that future happen, and take those learning items from the past to not implement it in the future. So that's what meditation does, is it helps you stay in the constant state of mind without having to worry from the other two endpoints of the spectrum. So that's like a simple term for like someone like the ages of 12 or 13. And then like there are like other ways of explaining it.
So is meditation kind of like something you do, or is it kind of like a mindset, you would say?
Well, it's something you do, and there is it uses pretty much 100% of the mindset, but you have, the key in this is the one thing that there are a lot of folks that say we will do, we will be approaching my meditation like the next 3 months or whatever, and like some delay it or some get to it. But when they start it, they feel like it's extremely easy. But the main like essential fact that helps you grow out of that comfort zone is focusing. If you're not able to focus on the breath or on the voice or whatever you're doing, like just trying to focus on what they're trying to say, on what on the person's voice or the breath, and get distracted by the outside noise, it becomes hard for you to like really hone in to the techniques. Because from the research that I've done, a lot of the times when someone hears meditate, you'll see folks like just literally close their eyes, but it's supposed to be like half closed, like half open and half closed, to really feel like you're doing it. But like, and that's the hardest, because you would have to reach that state of mind where where nothing around you is distracting you. You're just in the moment. Is like how think the right word to use, and that uses the majority of the mindset, because not having to think about like work or other problems or like house chores or whatever it is kind of a tricky situation, because we're always as humans been thrown things to do, that do this, do that writing, go do the dishes or whatnot. So it's like you're afraid of like a voice coming in, like interrupting all that. So you'd want to sit in a quiet zone because it's more preferable for you to like grow out of that. But yeah, I just say anywhere where at least you can find 50% peace, because some houses are a little bit chaotic with kids.
We know about that, don't we? So you had earlier you had mentioned like focusing on your breath or focusing on the source. Are there different ways to meditate, and if so, what are the different ways?
There are different techniques. Meditation's like the food web to that. I don't know if there's different ways of meditating. I mean, they're different types. Like there's like the religion Buddhism have their own techniques for meditating. Hinduism has its own techniques, and then there's like there's one other type of technique where you're not actually using your mindset. Someone else is getting all of your thoughts through their from their hands, like through their energy. I don't remember what the name of it is at the point, but yeah, I don't remember. I had done at least like 2 sessions, but with the point of that type of meditation, which is like somewhere in China, I don't know what area, it was like a specific region. and they pretty much they put peaceful music around them, and like certain scents like peppermint or something to make the room to get absorbed with it.
Yeah.
And they really have to focus on the healing part, because they're taking all the person's thoughts and trying to like set him free. So that requires a different level of mindset, because those folks are always outside, because they're getting, and they're fixing someone's energy and trying to find their problems, but getting energy from nature, from the force of nature. So they're always tend to sit outside. That's why they're well, at least folks who have done it, they have only a certain time of when they take appointments, because after that, that's when it's their time to like grab energy. So yeah, but back to your question, so different types of meditations in different forms based on the religion, but they have several techniques. Like in the meditation that I'm referring to, which is kind of in the Hinduism or origination, you like there's one where you can focus on specific chakras. Like there I've had a lot of individuals ask me about the throat chakra and the third eye chakra, the one between it's called the third eye chakra, so right over here. And you know, their techniques from all chakras, from the top of the head to the bottom of the toe. So like one of them is, it's called the Ajay Breath in like formal terms, but my clients called it the Darth Vader voice. And then there's like then there's another technique where you're feeling the vibrations of your hand if I were to do it, I would have to take my headset off, but you're closing your ears, you're closing your nose, and you're like trying to focus on like the beats per second that are coming from the hands, from like the ear to the nose, and that connect to the mind. So that way you can like feel the energy. And then there's even weird meditation techniques where they say roar like a lion, but take out all your energy at the same time. So don't just be saying like like literally like express it, but like also use your throat to say it. So that's also, so that's why when you see like the meditation, something you can do at any age, whether you're at the age of 5 to like the age of 70, which I don't know how long someone want to live, but that long. No offense, but that's the rule. Like there's no rules to it. Like you, like how in like a workout you have like a set amount of reps or with like a time limit or anything. I just tell them that if you can find at least 5 or 10 minutes in your day, just implement as many techniques as you can. And if you can go over, then push it out like 5 or 10 minutes. Like it's the only thing that matters is that you're consistent with it. The moment you're not consistent with it, it becomes really hard to go back. So yeah.
So I think at least when I think of meditation, I think like someone sitting on the floor, cross-legged, saying something. Like, is that like the only way, or can I do it lying down or sitting in a chair or something, or is it like?
Yeah, so you can sit in a chair, you can sit crisscross applesauce, you could even sit on your feet with like but you lying down might not be the best option, because it becomes harder to do the techniques, because you're using your nose and your mouth, and like you're pretty much all your chakras and mindset in your mindset. So it becomes harder for the flow of air to go through. I mean, and the thing is, you're lying down, so there's no circulation going through. But yeah, you can sit on a chair, however you want to sit, as long as you're sitting upright. you're good enough. So
All right.
Cool.
How old were you when you started meditating?
we're going back a history of time now. So I just turned 21 in the end of July this year, so I'm trying to think, like 14 or 13. So yeah, I mean,
So about
it
7 years.
yeah, about 7 years. It was, it wasn't easy for me to get started as well, because it took some effort from my parents to kind of like push me out of the force of habit to get it started. But for me, for my, a lot of folks, they're self-initiators. Like they'll find a video or two and they'll like focus on that and get good at that, and then find more attributes or find ways to like learn different techniques. I learned some of them from like my parents, from like when they would like calm me down or whenever they had time. But what really helped me to really understand the skills and hone the techniques was the organization called Art of Living. So they're like they were nonprofit and they turned nonprofit, whatever. They're kind of, let's just say, an organization. So they're an organization that helps promote the yoga and meditation perspectives pretty much around the world, but they originated in India. So the founder of that is Sri Ravi Shankar. And when I started there, I was in like the youth section, but they did a mixture of like, they made you feel as a kid, whether you were the age of a kid or whether you were the age of an adult, because that's the quote on message that yoga and meditation try to promote, that try to make yourself live fully and not like half. So, promoting that message, teaching the history of it, doing the technique, the breathing techniques, and then the yoga techniques. And then I think at the end, they would make us play games which involved the mindset as well. So there was a little bit of fun, but there was also like the main content that they were doing. So as I got, as it hooked me over the years, like through 7th, through 8th, and then through 9th, I was just trying to understand the skills. I was not looking to get very deep into it, but just like a kind of like a filter. But then slowly I started getting engaged in the community, and I started getting opportunities to go abroad to help people. Like I went to Atlanta. They had like a center over there for kids where I was like the assistant for one of them. There was like 2 mentors, one of them who really liked me. And so she gave me opportunities to go places with her. So there was Atlanta, there was Florida, kind of the same, 2 different trips. But then there was also, we went to Manhattan in Texas. So various places, but there is one event which I still don't forget, but I forgot the university that it was at, is that I was the only high schooler at that event, because I'd been part of the organization for the past 4.5 years at that point. And she thought I was ready to do like the kind of like the adult program, which is like the Yes Plus. They promote their programs by Yes because they feel like the more positive words you say, that's how your dictionary gets improved. You see folks with like using foul language, and you think it's easier to stop, but when you get in the rhythm of it, when you get in the rhythm of the beat, it becomes hard to pull that person away from it. So that was a brief overview of that, like why they named it Yes. But the university that I was at, when I flied over, I don't even remember why. I don't even have a clue about the location. Sometimes I feel like the Finding Dory in this case, but it was like 3-week long event, and pretty much they would teach. This was like a new club that was formed in the university, and we were paired in groups of 4 so that we could understand the techniques and try to get a good hang of what does Yes Plus have to offer to us. And I was placed with a group which had one who couldn't see, one who couldn't hear, one who had who suffered a very bad psychological issue, where if he had too much stress piled or he couldn't handle something, he would run out for like miles. And I'm not even like taking like run out like around the college campus, like miles and miles, so out of nowhere. So, you know, in the beginning, as much as I tried to like, you know, connect with them and not make them feel different, you know, you don't want to, you know, undervalue someone just because they have a disability. And
Agreed.
the more they try to like push away, even when I was being kind, nice, and, you know, sympathizing, they just kept pushing and pushing like away, like not like physically, but like through just like words and action that they took. So within like the first week and a half that had gone by, I kind of like just like gave up. I was like, this is really not going the direction I hoped. I wanted to change groups, but one of the professors over there who was a part of that group said that give it 3 more days, or like at least 5 more days, I think he said, and observe why they're running away from you. And so whenever we would have like 10-minute breaks in between, you know, the practices or techniques or like the fun talks that we had, they would, you know, in breaks, people tend to, you know, when you're doing work and you get like a 10-minute break, people tend to like socialize and they find their groups of people, right? And as much as they would talk to normal folks, people would disclude them. Yeah, there was no including, you know, even though they were perfectly normal just with this one disability. And it kept happening over and over and over, and that they were just not comfortable with themselves because they felt like the world was judging them. So I kind of spinned my approach where I was like, I'm not changing groups. I'm gonna like make them first believe in themselves and like think that if you're grounded about what you believe in and you don't care what other people think, you will have people attract you whether you have 50 disabilities or 100. So I helped them believe themselves. It took time, but like within that remaining week, you know, at the end of the seminar, we kind of traded phone numbers at that point. You know, imagining the step that we would never reach, we ended up reaching that conclusion. And to summarize the seminar, the folks that were leading this event, they were trying to see which group had went from zero to hero, and to see which team member helped contribute in that. And our group was presented, and I was the one on the stage. I mean, they might have been like 100 or 200, like 100 or 150 students at max, not including the ones who were leading it. And you know, with the applause and the attention, I think it made me realize that this might be an area that I might want to motivate folks to at least find an area where I can help others strive for their goals. You know, that's what I thought my mission was. And so from there on, I ended up going to, you know, different ways to get my voice out there and whatnot. So, awesome. and research on the way as well.
All right, that is a powerful story. Thanks for sharing with us.
Yeah.
So I think like one of the biggest things that I struggle with is maybe finding time. Like I'm so busy. Like I wake up, I pray, and then I'm off to the gym, and I come home and I shower, and then I work all day, and then I go to class in the evening, and then I have practicum, right? So like it's a really busy day, like really busy days for me. How can I make sure that I am getting time in, or is there an easy like meditation that you can show Leah and me that will help us like just do it for like 5 or 10 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Based off the schedule you presented, whenever you're praying or you're someone who's doing like a religious not ceremony, but like religious, being thankful to your God or your religion, that's a great way to include meditation because you're not using your head at that point. So it's better you do your breath than that, but it's harder for some folks. But some of the techniques that I've told folks that I've told individual clients of mine, where if you're busy in the mornings or in the evenings, some of them who are working contenders, I tell them that you definitely have lunch breaks, right? So whenever you're done within your lunch break, you can sit in your car and just do this even while you're eating or when you're just when no one's around you for work. So just picking your spots of destination, because it's not like a set workout where you have to do it at a specific location, it can happen anywhere. You could be doing it while you're walking. It's just that can be dangerous if you're crossing a traffic signal. Yeah. So it's better you do it in a place that you can sit, whether it's in a car, a dinner table, or anywhere in the office. So like I'll do the Darth Vader verse that I mentioned before. So okay. This is one of the easiest ones. This is one a lot of my clients like, because you can do it on the go, because you don't have to close your eyes in this. So I'm going to be breathing from my nose. I'm going to be sucking my breath in my throat and then letting it out from my mouth or nose. It's like an either or option. So I don't know if you could hear that, me sucking the breath, but this is opening my throat chakra. And a lot of the times why our throat chakra is blocked is because either that individual doesn't like to talk too much, or they're very silent on their voice. So that's why it's hard for them to open it. But for the ones that are very talkative, it's already open. So that's kind of how the chakra, so everyone knows those talkative folks in classes or whatnot, that you see them asking questions. So this helps to open your voice, present your thoughts and perspectives on the table over time. So this is a Darth Vader voice that people talk about. Some of my clients have got extremely deep, where it literally looks like they're sucking it all the way in. So as you get deeper into it, you can do more, you get more advanced with it. But I've even had both, and on a side note, both yoga and meditation go hand in hand, because they're both on the same level, because yoga is the only one that is like a physical exercise that works the mind, body, and spirit. And you can do that. And some of the practices from yoga, they use the meditations because you're doing every step by the breath. And it helps you become flexible. And I've seen this like with live examples, because I've seen instructors where the butterfly, like where you're moving your legs, they'll usually everyone's arrows are like in the legs and will like be, flopping side to side. But a lot of the instructors that have been doing it for like some time, the legs are so flexible that they start from the ground and they're flopping on the ground itself. So, lifetime benefits, I guess you could say.
All right. So Leah, should we try it?
No.
Why not, Leah? Don't be scared.
I don't know.
Let's try it.
I'm
So we're gonna
I mess up?
We can learn how to do it right. All right. So we're gonna breathe through our nose, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And into our throat.
So you're gonna breathe through your nose, and then you're gonna suck your breath down. So like when you take when you breathe everything in, take all the breath that you just put inside and just suck it down your throat.
Okay.
So that way all the energy is down in the throat, and so when you have to release it, you can do it through your mouth, or just hold and then release it through your nose.
Okay. All right, let's try it. Ready?
Oh, okay.
All right. Did I go too fast?
I don't know. I don't think you went too fast. You stopped
Okay.
in the middle.
Interesting.
All right. So when I breathed through my nose, I did feel it go like I tried to suck it down my throat, but then I think I like as soon as I did that, then I just released it. I was like, okay.
But when you do it in the beginning, you kind of get like what's happening down in like a kind of like a sting up here. So it becomes, so you tend to want to release it out really quickly, but the benefits happen is how long you can hold it. I've had folks that have held it for 2 minutes straight, which is extremely long. I've only been able to hold it for 1.5 minutes. I've tried to go 2 minutes, doesn't work. I get extremely red after one point, but all of this, like any sport, like any skill you want to do, it all takes practice.
Mm-hmm.
And this also comes with the other example where my mom's dad, he's been doing it for the past 30 years. And the benefit, this is like a live experience I've been talking about. When he came to the US, because he lives in India, we were one time just going for like playing, tennis just for fun, me and my siblings. And he was just watching like for the first 15 minutes when he said, I'll just play for 10 minutes. And you expect someone in the age of, and he was in the 70s area, to, go really slow because, the body movements really, they don't have that, that stride, to like hit the ball as hard.
Yeah.
But because he'd been doing yoga for such a long time and meditation practices, it builds a lot of energy within your body. Like not the energy you get from workout. Like this is like soul energy. Like it's like even more powerful. And when he was hitting the ball, it literally felt like he was playing the old version of Roger Federer. So, I mean, he was outrunning everyone in our family. And I was like, this 70-year-old man is making the young people look even worse. So, because he was hitting the ball like at a really fast speed. And, it was shocking to see that someone at that age who doesn't really play sports, does really basic movements like the sun salutation or the breathing techniques that he's been taught, and he's just able to like live outrun us all. Was kind of surprising to me that I didn't know these were like the long-term benefits. Mm-hmm. And it keeps your mood, it keeps your emotion levels not swinging, meaning a lot of the times there's folks that you see they'll be extremely happy or extremely sad. They have like an emotional, like I like to call swing. It's like they either go extremely far, or they actually go really back where they end up falling. So it helps with that as well. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I think my only experience with meditation has been like when I did yoga for a few years. And I like always struggled when we got to any type of meditation because my brain just does not shut up. Like I would hear myself saying, okay, now breathe in. Okay, breathe out. And I'm like, can you just stop? Like, shh, quiet. That's what we're trying to achieve here.
Yeah. Yeah, it becomes, the game, like how in every game, like a chess game or whatever game you're playing, it's the timer that doesn't shut up, which in our case is the mind, because it's all constantly thinking. We're told in school to like keep our brains active, keep our brains nourished, flourished, like it's some type of water well. So when you're doing something that's having to shut it up, it automatically goes like, how do I? It's like, so that's when developing a filter to it takes time, effort, and it takes practice. So yeah, I remember when I was in 7th grade, I think within like a month, I was like, I'm not doing this. It was really frustrating for the fact that I couldn't. It was really hard for me to focus because they would give challenging moves, and over there it was easy, but when I used to do it at home, it used to be hard. And so that's also another thing where if you're in a certain environment, since everything's so peaceful and quiet because that's how the program's made, at other locations it's not going to be that peaceful and quiet. If you're walking on the streets and you've been doing meditation for a year and you want everyone to be quiet, you're going to be the center of the spotlight, being like, what is this man talking? So as you get better at it, the filters become stronger where you can do it in any space. Yeah. So it took me, after 3 years, I started doing it outside in like the public so that it wouldn't notice. And it was hard, but I kind of took it as a challenge where I used to keep doing it like in the inside environment, but the outside. And this is all before the pandemic. And then slowly it just got better. But yeah.
My next question is, earlier you were talking about yoga, and you were talking about how yoga is like one of the only exercises that works the mind, the body, and the spirit and stuff. And we've been talking about meditating and different types of ways to meditate. How does meditating connect to our spirit?
Yeah. Meditating connects to your spirit is when you're in sync with all the body parts from like the head to the toe, where you're not feeling the outside environment. And that's like that way, like the eyes are like half closed and like half open, like in between. And so that to connect to the spirit on meditation levels takes some time, because you would have to want to be persistent and continually doing it in order to reach that level. With yoga, it doesn't work like that, because you're moving your body and you're doing flexible exercises, you're doing balancing poses, so it becomes easier to connect to the spirit in that way, because you're moving around. In meditation, you're just simply sitting and you're focusing. So in order to connect all the strings, they all need to be in line, where like you have kind of like a numb feeling, because I remember the first time I was in that state of feeling, I was in 9th grade, and I'll just talk about like from what I had experienced. I mean, I was on the football. I was on the football field in the stadium seats, even though it was closed. Don't ask how I got there, but I was just sitting over there, and I was like, hopefully I can reach that feeling. And a lot of the times it's also like, if the mind is extremely tired, that is your golden opportunity, because it will shut up already. When something is tired, they won't want to like, rant at you, or like continually saying things to you where like help you get distracted. And so I just put the music on the side and I was just focusing. And there's a certain level of deepness where within like the first 10 minutes, you know if this is going to be, if this meditation is going to be deep or not, because the eyes slowly move its joints from like either to the middle or to the down, or it's like open and like either, and also like the mind is wobbling, and there's like a lot of body characteristics that you pick on. And that day I was literally in sync because there was no one around me. There was just air flowing, leaves maybe hitting my face, but it was like everything was slowly feeling numb. Like it felt like the doctor had given an injection and like I couldn't feel any part. Like it just slowly started, like the light bulbs of my feet, my quads, my stomach were just all turning off. It's like, I like to think of it as, it might be hard for folks to visualize, but think of like how when we turn on our lights, there's like a process, like there's like I mean, right now it's easy to, because you just flip the switch, but to turn the circuit on, multiple light bulbs have to get off in order to off the light, or have to get on to turn the light on. So it's like, think of as the light bulbs are all turning off from like the feet to the legs to like on to like even the fingers. So that's what it does. It literally turns everything off, because it puts you in a state of mind where you might even feel like you're floating. I've had folks who they feel like they're floating in the air, because you're reaching a state of mind where you're not thinking of anything, like literally nothing. And so that's what like that day, at least I had recently watched, I a lot of the times get blamed for it, but I recently watched the Star Wars film, and I thought I was on the ship, literally flying through the future, because I had no sense of the future or the present or even the past. And so it was like constant vision. And the only way I woke up, I couldn't wake myself up. I'd actually been sitting in that pose for at least an hour. It can take you as deep as you want it. Some folks are able to break themselves out. I mean, when you get to that state of level the first time, I've heard folks that they've been in that state of mind for hours. But as they keep getting into it, they learn how to like get out and get in, because they've learned the tricks to it, like the keys. And so it was a janitor who was cleaning the stadium that day, who kind of like was like, "Are you alive?" Everything and all that. But it does take a push before you go like, wait, what happened? Like if you're in a class and you get into deep meditation and the teacher comes back in an hour, like you might want to do it in a location where no one's gonna steal your things. That's first rule of thumb. Okay. So yeah, but it really does make you numb, and that's how it deepens the spirit, like you mentioned, because you have no control of you're not feeling anything. So when you're not feeling anything, everything opens up at that moment. You know, the eyes are at a specific place, the mind is tired, you're not feeling any part of your body, and literally the strings are holding on to each other, because the meditation, like the breath is helping it to hold it without even you noticing it. You know, as humans, when we get like not a bloody nose, like when we get like a scratch where like we're bleeding, you know, how does it heal? It heals with like the particles joining themselves together. Over time, week, it gets better. It starts to have like the tissues start to pop up, and then slowly it goes away and peels off, just like that. Everything is a human process. And what saddens me a lot is when folks who are in troubling days, they'll go to a psychologist, and some of them will not admit it. But that is one of the reasons why psychology majors have trended a lot. In terms of like a lot of folks doing it these days because of the emotional problems that young folks have had with social media problems or not being able to handle themselves, when really the breath is at no cost as of right now. So I don't know if in the next future years they're gonna make us start paying for our own breath.
I hope not. Like,
I
I work with kids all the time, and I talk about the importance of breathing, right? Because breathing helps us regulate our body, especially when we are
Yep.
in an emotional state, right? But most kids aren't patient enough to even breathe. They want the results right then, right
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
like. But teaching them that they have control, that they have agency to like control themselves and regulate themselves is like an important part of my job. And so, and I tell them, no one can like ever stop you from breathing. Like, I mean, they can, but that means they're doing some extreme like crazy things for that to happen. So as long as that's not happening, and I hope that never happens to them, like they always have access to breathing. They always have access to their mind. Right?
Yep.
So there's a couple of things that they always have access to, some coping skills that they can always use.
Yeah, that point you mentioned where like the young crowd today, they want the results now. You know, they don't care that you take 3 days or 4 days to think about it. They just want now. And I think that's what's helped to not understand that things take time to learn. And so that's why when someone hears meditation or yoga, they're like, oh, that's going to take time to do. Or for even like workouts, even if someone has fat to lose, it's like, it's like 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, they'll go, it's like, it's not working. Back to square one. So it's like the persistent is what really helps, with the drive at least.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been a lot of information.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, this is just like a pre-overview. There's a lot more in the book of like the sources. Like just to leave, just like a fun fact. In the olden days, the warrior, like this is like BC I'm talking about, when this is when we were not even born. Like just the warriors, at least in India, who fought for their independence or just, battles against other territories. Everyone, I mean, depending on where the US people in China or Europe or US, they all had their own methods. Some would be using the forms of weights as one, some would be using the forms of whatever their tradition was. But in India, we originated with yoga because we thought it helped the soul to provide more energy than anything else, because we're moving with our body. And so all the warriors, like the sunset, they used to do, it's like a crazy number, like something like 500 sun salutations, like every day. That was because, I mean, there was no like school, there was teachers, but like there was no like advanced society like it is today. There was like, and they would be doing it on like sand or mud or dirt, like anywhere that they could find space, and just doing the sun salutation or other poses to keep their body flexible so they could hit the bow and arrow at the spot of the enemy, or wave the sword at the location so that they can get rid of a individual. So that's what helped them keep focused or have a sharp eye at where to aim for the target. So and that obviously comes over time, but I thought that's something I could have just a fun fact.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep.
500. Oh my gosh, I die after like 2.
Like, yeah, I can't.
I did 2.
Some you get done by 1, 2, 10. Like I get done around like 25, but that's the most I can do, because you have to do like the cobra pose, the downward dog, and then you have to stand up. So it's like there's several poses before you actually finish one.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not just like it's not like you're just running. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like not. It's So I know what you mean.
All right. Well, Leah, I think it's time for us to take a break.
All right, that sounds good. We'll take a break and then we'll be right back.
All right.
I know this isn't exactly what we're discussing today, but pretty much ever since we talked to Ashley back in episode 7 and Michael in episode 8, tarot has kind of piqued my interest slightly.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure how I feel about it still.
Right, because we were raised to like fear that, like stay away.
But I did find this like random tarot card generator online, and sometimes I pull it up just to see what I get. So I thought we would each pull a card today and see what we get.
Let's do it.
Okay, so from my understanding, when you do any type of tarot reading, you're supposed to kind of like have like a generalized question first to set your intention. Kind of like, will changing my career be good, or like, what will changing my career hold for me? You know, very generalized, not really a yes or no. Like, will I become rich? Yes or no? That's not the kind of question you're looking for. So something more generalized.
Okay.
So think of what you're gonna say, or think of what you're gonna be setting your intention to.
So not really a yes or no.
Yeah. So it's more of just like something general. And then while you do that, I will pull up the generator.
All right.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's pull your card. And so, Lamont, you got the Tower.
Ooh.
And according to this website, the Tower warns you that part of your life is in dire need of reconstructing and may soon crumble, but with some planning, you can build something much stronger in its place. So, you don't have to share with us what you're...
Well, I was thinking, like, how will the Lamont and Leah podcast impact the future or the people? Right?
Uh-oh.
So I was like, wait, what does that mean?
Maybe that's talking about the fact that we're overscheduling things and we're running tight up against some stuff.
Maybe.
That's interesting. All right, let me pull one for myself. I'm going to disappoint you, but mine is not going to be Lamont and Leah oriented.
Related?
Yeah. So, hold on, let me just figure out this wording. Okay, let's pull this. I got the Fool.
Oh.
The Fool, card 0 of the tarot, encourages you to try something adventurous and new. Unfamiliarity can be invigorating, but take care not to put yourself in needless danger.
All right. So do you want to share what you were, like, thinking, or is that just kind of for you?
Yeah, I'll share. So I've been thinking about moving forward with joining the union out here in order to start working on film sets. But I've been really nervous about it because I feel like it's going to be a lot of time commitment. And also, I don't know if I'm, like, good enough. You know, usual self-doubting mentality. So that's interesting.
So I think maybe you should lean in, or like maybe like consider what the tarot had to say. And
Interesting.
yeah.
Still don't know how I feel about it, but it is interesting. Thank you, tarot. Or is it a spiritual thing?
I feel like some people think it's spiritual. I know it has something to do with energies and stuff like that.
Thank you, energies.
All right, thank you so much for coming on today, talking with Leah and myself. We really appreciate you just enlightening our minds about this topic and subject.
Mm-hmm.
If people wanted to get in contact with you, what would be the best way for them to do that?
Yeah. So, anyone who's found this inspiring or wants to just find me in general through stalking purposes, you can find me through LinkedIn, which is my most active platform, by typing my name. That's one of them. Then I'm also on Reddit, and I'm even on Instagram, but not as active. And I'm also on Facebook. But I also have a personal photography page called 3G Photos and Videos, where I haven't been as active with graduation status, but I do have some photography content that you can at least browse through. So, and that's on Instagram and Facebook. So yeah, you can take a look at that as well.
Awesome, of course. So make sure you guys check out our description. We'll have all of those links there.
Yes. And then, are there any special projects that you're working on that you would like to share with us?
Besides graduating.
Yeah. Besides graduating, I do have some projects in the works. Right now, I'm in the works of creating what you guys are doing, in my own podcast.
Right.
But
Very cool.
Yeah, that's one of them as of right now. But exploring others as of right now. But I think, as I've gotten to be on several podcasts, I've learned from the podcasters' viewpoint that they get to meet new people and learn about their perspectives. So
yeah,
just yeah. So you never know, I might call both of you at one point.
Yeah,
hey,
of course,
do it.
Definitely.
We'll be happy to guest star.
Awesome.
So yeah.
All right. And then as we close, is there something you really want people to know, that just from your heart? It doesn't have to be about the subject or whatever, but if you just want to share maybe your final thoughts, that something you just want people really to know, go ahead.
Yeah. I feel like anyone that will see me on LinkedIn, I mentioned this in my hashtags, that's fall forward, don't fall back. And this is really hard for the young generation to relate with, because they want to fall back on something so that they have a backup just in case something goes wrong, instead of falling forward to hit the wall and go okay, I didn't know that, I won't take that route, I'll go somewhere else. And so the more you try to fall forward, the more you try to guide, you have a better direction, a better sense of what's out there in the world. And I've just learned that with experience along the way. People that, icons of mine that I look up to, one of them being is, people say that, he's kind of an actor and whatnot, but the reason I look at Denzel Washington not as the actor, but as as who he is because he has a strong foundation for it. Is that if you work hard for something, expect to fail billions of times to get the one outcome. And so that is something that's, and his University of Pennsylvania speech is extremely beautiful, what he said, all relative facts. And I feel like I stand by that every single day, which is, you have to continuously grow in order to improve, and that don't get bogged down by whatever society's telling you or whatever is happening around you. People say things and then they forget it. So it's better for you to fall forward than just to wait, because there's always this wavelength where people use the words that I will approach that, and then 6 months go by. Once you say I'm going to do it, it might not happen then, but 3 weeks later you might end up doing it. So you might so the type of words you use also have an effect as into how do you execute something. So I think that should keep them on the loop.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. It's a really
yes, thank you so much. And
great
thank
viewpoint.
you. And thank you for being on with us today. Sorry, Leah. So sorry. Today's life lesson is your journey to connection. I think we all can agree that life is a journey. And a big part of the journey is all about connection. The great Dr. Brene Brown once said, I define connection as the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued. When they can give and receive without judgment. And when they derive substance and strength from the relationship. When are we going to start to connect with ourselves? This is me speaking. Many of us, when we communicate with ourselves, we are mean and hurtful. We have the tendency to think judgmentally. So the next time we communicate with ourselves, let it be in a space of love. Think or whisper to ourselves, I see you. I hear you. You are valuable. You are worthy. And see how you change and grow. And that is today's life lesson.